So defining wealth, time, knowledge, and money. It's not just about having money. And today we're going to give you 4 takeaways of how to actually achieve that, what levels to go through.
You know, an abundance of valuable possessions or money. That's the definition of wealth.
No, that's the definition. I maintain I have my own definition of wealth. You ready?
Yeah.
Wealth is time, knowledge, and then money. Money in addition to all of that. Best examples I've had recently.
Best.
Time. The time one is simple. You're on an airplane. I hate this because I get nervous about this. You're on an airplane and you're flying commercial, not private. And they're like, hey, we've overbooked. Anybody for $100 take the next flight? I'm in 100%, but I don't raise my hand because I know they'll go higher. And now I feel like I'm in a race against everybody else. But in reality, I'm the only one that raises my hand and get $500 to take the next flight because I've got time. To me, wealth equals time. You get paid the money in that case.
Is it though the buying of the time sometimes? Like in that case, like it's delaying your time for money. In another sense,
but can you? Do you got to go back to work?
Correct. You've got that option, but there's the other option of, okay, the person who flies private, they don't have to go to an airport because they can buy their time. Hey, we're buying our time. Maybe that's not even the example. It's just, you know, things like that. You know, okay, it's going to take me just the other day. Y'all don't laugh. Took me like 7 hours to change my brakes on my wife's vehicle because I did not realize I didn't have this silly tool that plugs in and twists on the caliper. Yeah. I used to always just compress. It was this thing like, I was so aggravated with this. Now I know. But if I would have just spent $100 and something bucks, I would have bought the time and had all that time back. And so there's ways to look at that.
And so that's why, look, we can't all have mansions, private jets. And our audience, we're not talking to people that are saying, I have a private jet because I buy my time back and I get to see all that stuff. Congratulations if you ever get to that point. But that's not who we're talking to. The time example is to me is a part of being wealthy because you have the time, the flexibility, maybe your job, whatever, to where you could take that bonus at the airport, stay for an hour or two, catch the next flight, and you won't lose your job, which then means you lose your money. The second thing is knowledge. This one is almost most important because the best example that I have, last time I got in a car accident, it was a horrible car accident. You guys know my truck. The lady literally hit me from the back in the corner, turned my whole truck into a ramp. She went flying through the air and spun and everything, demolished my old classic truck. I was more interested in if I was safe. I literally got out, I exploded out of the truck. That's how it went down. And everybody's like, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I guess so, whatever. I wasn't stressed because I knew how my insurance worked. I knew I had plenty of insurance. I felt bad for her because she was upside down and crushed in the car. But I knew there was no stress. How many times do you pass somebody on the street, little fender bender, and the girl's crying, the guy's crying, they pat each other on the back? What are you crying for? If you're physically healthy, then what are you crying for? You know how insurance works, you're covered, you have enough of it, knowledge.
Maybe they didn't have
it. Or maybe
coverage.
They didn't, right?
Yeah, maybe that's why they're upset. I have one where I may have shared this story before, so I had a rental property, and it was a valuable lesson that I learned. I was brought up, it's, changing the brakes. I shouldn't say this is poor man's mindset, but oftentimes you can get that way if you're not careful by not having the knowledge of doing certain things. Yeah. When to do something, when not to do it. And sometimes knowledge is just being able to pass it off to somebody who actually knows how to do it. I had this rental property, these people moved out, and I went in and there were fleas jumping on my legs. Yeah. And I'm like, oh man. So I went to the store and I actually bought garbage bags. And I taped them to my legs. Yeah. And I went and I bought all of this flea spray and I sprayed everything and I killed everything off. And then I left.
I'm getting itchy.
And then I came back. And when I came back, they were 1,000 times worse because all of the little eggs had hatched and all these things. And I talked to a buddy of mine and he's like, hey, why are you wasting your time with this? Yep. And instead you should have just called somebody and they will handle it. And it only takes this much money. And in that moment, that's where, just gaining that knowledge of saying, hey, pay somebody to do it sometimes is actually worth more than anything else. And I think that goes under the time, the knowledge, and the money, but it's of everything when it comes to wealth.
Yeah.
But that's...
Well, I've been in numerous situations like that. I can tell you, tile being the last one. But time, obviously very important. It's a part of being wealthy. That's a part of the equation. If you are a great example of a client is in the professional services, won't say what they do, but it requires all their time, kind of like a chiropractor. If you're not cracking people, you're not getting paid, right?
Yeah.
Or what?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
So there's a limit. You have no time, but they do awfully, well, they make good money. So we don't have that time. The knowledge comes from learning, watching this guy, me, right? Teach you a little bit. The money part of it doesn't have to be that you have multi-millions of dollars. No. Best example that I have most recently, I just went to Disney World, and you park and you get all the way in there and stuff. It's 40 minutes before you get in. I'm fine with that. And I realized, man, I wish I had sunglasses. So I bought sunglasses. They were $25 for the cheapest pair of sunglasses I've seen because they have Mickey on the side of them. That didn't ruin my day. I'm not happy about it, but it didn't ruin my day. It didn't ruin my budget. It didn't ruin the month. I can still pay everything. That's the money side of it. It's not about having a private jet or the $1 million car. We got to figure out how to get there. So 4 ways to get there. Can I get you there?
I was going to say,
what's the takeaway?
Share a story there.
Share the story. Go ahead.
Well, it's just the idea, just what you're saying about the money, and it's really just knowing how to have your money work for you, what you need to do, and having enough. Finding how many people do we work with that are retired that still feel broke that have millions in the bank.
Yep.
And I mean, I just met with somebody the other day. They had $500,000 in dual income coming in. They were saving 30% of their money, and they still felt broke. And I'm like, how is this happening? But obviously, the money aspect of it, they were shooting for this like crazy pipe dream of things. Of maybe it's the flying private stuff. But on the other side of it, you can be wealthy mentally just getting like all the people who do the FIRE thing. I actually find it kind of inspiring with some people who go this route and are comfortable living on, hey, I'm living on $5,000 a month, but I can control my time. I can control, what I'm doing and my money. Like I have enough to get by. And that in itself, I think is wealth, because how many people are a slave to the work clock in order to get more money? And so that's, that takes away from it.
My last piece here is that I don't want this to seem like we're discounting anything. My best sort of advisor when I was younger, real young, was the chief of the Seminole Indians. They were family friends. And I remember him saying vividly one time, always be thankful for what you have, but fight to be better. And that was their mindset, was we're thankful for the land and the space that we have, but if we can learn something to be better, if we can fight to be better, if we can achieve something to be better, of course, that's what we're here for, fulfill our purpose. So, 4 takeaways. How do you do this, right? Yeah. How do you find time, knowledge, and money? We got to start with a budget, right? That's the dumb one. I don't care how you do it. You got to go do it. Like it or not, when you're retired, you're on a budget. You have limited income. Maybe it's a lot, maybe it's a little. Figure it out. Get it done. Number 2, you move on to financial strategies. What can you do with your money to be more efficient? Number 3 is tax strategies. Got to do that. Stop paying these people so much money. Tax strategies. And from there, you now have everything in layers where what can we do? We can move on to the wealth strategy. Like what does wealth mean to you? Inside of each one of those 4 things, that'll get you there, man.
That's it.
That's what to do.
That's it. The little weasel walks into the bar. The bartender says, wow, I've never served a weasel before. What can I get you? Pop, goes the weasel.
Okay. Thanks for watching.